morning, Cityside. Happy Sunday. We're going to stand and sing Amazing Things. You will do amazing things with the joys each new day brings. And with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is there in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. All the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't need to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath, smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Grow in potted soil where the wind doesn't blow. Grow on rocky hilltops under mountains of snow. Where your intentions live, go sow your seeds and give them water. The deeper down you dig, you find your mother nature's daughter. If we tend our garden, not to watch it grow, but to mend grow. Where you are planted or wherever you go, grow. Just give it water where your roots find a home. Where your intentions live, go sow your seeds and give them water. The deeper down you dig, you find your mother nature's daughter. If we tend our garden, not to watch it grow, but to mend our hearts and practice what we know. If we tend our garden, not to watch it grow, but to mend our hearts and practice what we know. What we know is the first step to how we grow.
He's been so serious today. Good morning. Oh, it's so nice to see you all here. You made it through the maze outside of the fundraise. That was interesting. I'm Connie Hodek. I'm one of your licensed spiritual practitioners, pronouns she, her. And if you're joining us online, say hello to Jonathan Hoffman. He's there as the online host. He's also a licensed spiritual practitioner. And we invite everyone here to spread the word to Cityside, talk us up. Yeah, tell everybody and share it online. And for those of you here, we have postcards, the purple postcards. Grab several and pass them out. Family, friends, colleagues, the waitress, the waiter, you know, the guy that washes the cars, you know, pass it out. You'd be so surprised at the positive response you will get. At Cityside, we embrace new thought and wisdom teaching and are affiliated with the Centers for Spiritual Living. We honor all paths and provide a supportive community where you can explore your own spiritual path. I love that. Each and every one of us are unique spiritual beings. We have a unique spiritual path. Well, past too, yeah. Okay, so if you'll read along with me, the words on the screen. At Cityside, we envision a diverse and empowered community that is experiencing unconditional love in action. Our mission is to create safe and inclusive spaces, explore and deepen our faith, grow in spiritual consciousness, and express our authentic nature. Gordon Dickinson, one of our licensed spiritual practitioners, is holding vigil today in the back there. It's a meditative state creating a space for us to have a transformative experience. And today we have our Reverend John Adams, our very own, continuing our theme, Fulfilling Your Soul's Potential. And his talk today is entitled, Let's Choose Freedom. Yes. So what does freedom mean to you, especially in your personal life? What does freedom mean to you? So greet and meet and share. We've got 2 minutes, and then come back to your seats.
Okay, if you could come back into your seats and move on with our service. I'm Reverend Judy. My pronouns are she, her. I'm here to offer the reading today, lead us in a brief meditation, and open our service with prayer. So our reading is from our book of the month, Spiritual Liberation by Michael Bernard Beckwith. He writes, "What we want to achieve through practicing the discipline of freedom is to free ourselves from our all-caught-upness and live in awareness of the divine light, without which there could be no movie called life. Regardless of where you stand in your evolutionary process, the capacity to enter reality is always available to you. Call it a renewal, redemption, resurrection, transfiguration, or transformation. It doesn't matter. You agree to free yourself from the limitation of play acting, the roles assigned to you by society, family, religion, and education, and accept the part that has been written for you since the beginning of time, being yourself." So now I'm going to invite you to come into a place of stillness, a place of quiet, as we spend a few moments in quiet meditation. So as we stay in this place of stillness, this place of peace, this place of reflection, it is a place where we can hear that still small voice that speaks to us, that knows that it is God, that knows that it is peace and love and presence, eternal presence, that it is wholeness and joy and freedom. This still small voice that speaks to us and reminds us to listen, reminds us to know who God is and to know who we are in God. And so as I listen to that voice, I know that I am one with it. I know that I am one with all that this presence, this love, this power is, that it is my essence, my truth, that I am never separate from it. And as I know this truth for myself, I know it for each and every person sitting in the seats today, each and every person watching online or who will watch later, just knowing that we are one with all that God is. And so it is in that oneness, in that truth, that I speak this blessing upon our service today, knowing that it is a perfect divine expression of love, of wholeness, of peace, of joy, of freedom. And so I bless everyone who has come together to make this service possible. So many volunteers and all of our teams, especially bless our music team that lifts us up in song and beauty as prayer. I bless our tech team that keeps us connected here in the room and online, and all those who have a role in service today. I bless everyone who comes together to make this service so beautiful and so meaningful for each of us. I especially bless Reverend John as he has made himself available and open at the top to receive this divine wisdom about freedom, about how to live our lives and free ourselves from thought and condition and anything that holds us back from being the divine expressions of love that we are, that is our essence. So I bless it all. I bless this Cityside community as we express this divine love throughout the world. I bless it and call it good. And together we say, and so it is.
The feature song today is I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say 'em loud, say 'em clear, for the whole round world to hear. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Remove all the bars that keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree that every man should be free. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. I wish I could do all the things that I can do, though I'm way overdue. I'd be starting anew. Well, I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be if I found I could fly. Oh, I'd soar in the sun and look down at the sea. Then I'd sing, 'cause I'd know how it feels to be free. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know how it feels to be free. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know how it feels to be free.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. We'll see if I'm on. I feel like I'm on, yeah. We're wireless. I don't have to hold the mic. I can dance. Good morning, everybody. It's so good to be here with you. It's such an honor and a joy to get the opportunity to do these talks, and I'm just grateful for Reverend Amy for giving me this opportunity. We've already started the conversation. You know, my talk title is Let's Choose Freedom, and we've already started talking about freedom this morning. I was reading the online chat. Hello, online family. Good to see you. And everyone's already in the conversation, and we're in it in song and in prayer. Thank you, Reverend Judy. So I want to talk about freedom a little bit today, and I'm going to talk about it in three ways. And I'm going to start with a little bit of a story. A few weeks ago, maybe a month or more, I was at the Art Institute of Chicago. And I saw an exhibit there called Project a Black Planet. This is a fascinating, interesting exhibit. Project a Black Planet is the art and culture of Pan-Africa, so it's the entire continent of Africa. It's a landmark exhibition at the Art Institute of Chicago. It ran through the end of March, and it was the first major international exhibition to explore cultural manifestations of Pan-Africanism from the 1920s to present, featuring many, many artists from Africa, North and South America, and Europe. And the exhibition examined Pan-Africanism as a dynamic worldview advocating for global solidarity and self-determination among people of African descent. Fascinating. And this was a very paradoxical experience for me. And paradoxical in that it was simultaneously not for me, because it was really for people who have that connection to the African continent, people who have heritage there, have some history or some connection to that area of the world, which really isn't me. So the exhibit wasn't for me, and yet at the same time it was for me, because it opened me up and helped me start to look at things through a different lens. You know, we tend to lean a little bit more into what is the sort of loudest voice in the room, if you will, which is that sort of white European-centric ideology that just we're sort of born into and grow up with, and it's the one way to looking at the world. And this was just sort of saying, yes, that's fine, but there's a whole nother way of looking at life. There's a whole nother life experience that people are having. And the way I do these exhibits, it's just the way I like to do them. I like to go through, you know, like they'll have like several rooms of artwork. So I'll go through the room and I'll kind of experience the art and however I'm reacting to it. And then I go back and I read all the curatorial notes and artist text if they have some, and they often do, particularly at the Art Institute. And I take all of that in, and it's just a very rich experience. And for me, what I was getting from this was this sense of coming together, the word that they use in their description, solidarity, this idea of coming together, of a pulling together, a sense of belonging. This sense of belonging really spoke to me and I had sort of this it hit me on a spiritual level. You know, this is like this real life stuff. You kind of go and do your life. I'm living my life. And then all of a sudden there's like this spiritual insight that happens, right? And this was one of those experiences. And the phrase that came to me as I was looking through this and reading through it and experiencing it is this idea of belonging equals freedom. That belonging, the sense of belonging, whether it's in this exhibit of Pan-Africanism or it's in our community or in whatever way we feel welcomed and we feel like we belong, there is this sense of, oh, right, I can just be myself. We talked about this the last time I was here. We talked about this authentic self. I can just be me. I can be in my full expression, right? I can really honor that. And what can happen, particularly if you've grown up as I have and others may have, in some kind of marginalized way, in some kind of disenfranchised way, in some kind of way in which you have to continually, or feel like you have to continually code switch. Code switching is when you are like, there's the group dynamic is happening and you're like, I want to fit in, so I'm going to start talking like them and acting like them, and my body language is going to be like them, and I'm going to accommodate that to make them comfortable so I feel like I can fit in. But when you belong, we can let go of all of that. We just belong, and we have this sense of beautiful freedom of just being authentic, being our authentic selves. It's this coming together, and it's this spiritual offering that we get. I think that freedom is a God quality. I think freedom is a natural state of being. It is who and what we should be always. And I think other stuff gets in the way. It kind of gets shrouded. And so our work here at Cityside and other spiritual communities is sort of getting rid of that shrouding. And when we do, we come home. It's a sense of home, this sense of, I can just be me. And the beautiful gift about this is it's something that we certainly receive, but it's also, and this is really what I want to bring home around this particular point of freedom, is it's something that we give. It's a gift that we give. We do it all the time. We do it here at Cityside. We're like, please, come in, sit, be welcome, have some coffee. You know, it's not complicated. It's actually really simple. And it's simple because it is our organic self. It is who we truly are. We are always giving the gift of welcoming in and belonging. And that gift brings with it this reminder, this reawakening to our natural state of freedom. And it's so significant. You know, we are these spiritual beings. We are these avatars of God in this human space, in this world. We are the things that channel God into this world, God being source, spirit, love, unconditional, this expanded knowing, this inner truth, life force that we are. When I say God, I don't mean some old man in the sky that's throwing down lightning bolts, but this inner light that we get in touch with, that we know of ourselves. And we are the agents for that. We bring that in, because we live in a world, right, that is full of free will. And in a free will world where everything and everyone has free will, it can feel a little chaotic. We can go a million different directions. We bring the channel of this love, this light, this higher consciousness. We are the way, and we are the conduit for that to enter into this world. And one of the ways that we do it, and we do it probably without even thinking about it, is by welcoming and giving people a sense of belonging and allowing them and knowing that they belong. Not in a gatekeeping kind of way where I'm like, yeah, okay, you can belong. It's more of, if there is any kind of gatekeeping, it's just in holding that high watch, holding those values, holding that sense of, yes, we are always welcoming and we are not segregating. It's a beautiful gift, and it's an empowering thing to realize that even in our most casual moments, we are expressing that God self, our true nature. This idea of belonging equals freedom. It's such a powerful spiritual idea. I think it's why we come together in spiritual community, to create this belonging together so that we can experience that freedom and express it more fully. The other way I want to talk about freedom today is the way Michael Beckwith talks about it in the book. And Michael Beckwith actually talks about freedom in a few different places in the book in a few different ways. But the way that landed for me was from the reading, where he was talking about this idea of releasing the limiting beliefs. We talk about this a lot here at Cityside. So we step into that consciousness of letting go of, anything that is forcing us or limiting us in our joy and our happiness and our freedom. We are freeing ourselves from any belief that holds us back, stepping fully into our spiritual inheritance of empowerment. I have to get used to having the mic. Our spiritual inheritance of empowerment. I don't know, I love that phrase. I think that's a Michael Beckwith phrase. There's a YouTube channel that I watch, speaking of like things in real life that inspire me. There's a YouTube channel that I've been watching for, it's not really my thing, but I actually find it fascinating. It's this guy who's rebuilding a boat. He's rebuilding this 1920s boat. And there's actually a few channels on YouTube about rebuilding these wooden boats, these wooden ships. And he's been rebuilding it. And anyway, he was talking about his love of sailing. And he was talking about his history with sailing. And he said he remembered that he had this, when he was first really getting into it, he had a single mast sailboat and he was sailing it all over the place. He was up in the British Isles and he went all the way down into the Caribbean and he was all over the place by himself. And he said at one point, I was all alone in this vast ocean with no land around me. And I realized, he said, I had this realization that I have taken my life into my own hands. It was like, there's a spiritual truth in that. And this is in alignment with Michael Beckwith, that we are called to take our lives into our own hands. That we are not just the victim of circumstance and situations. We're not this like pinball machine where we get launched into the world and we're bouncing off of, oh, there's jobs over here and oh, relationships, oh, and health issues and relationship problem, and I'm just being bounced around randomly, right? What Michael Beckwith teaches us and what we teach here at Cityside is that we can set an intention. We can take our lives into our own hands and be the sailor of our own ship. And yes, the sailing might go a little like this, but we're headed someplace. We're setting an ideal for ourselves. We're headed towards this greater good, this greater experience, this greater freedom. Releasing ourselves from any limiting beliefs, from any belief of the randomness of things happening, and understand that we are participating in a organized, loving universe. Reminds me, this is another life thing. So occasionally I'll watch TikTok, not often, but I will watch it. And somebody has put Louise Hay on TikTok. And she pops up on my TikTok all the time. And she's on there in her very sonorous voice, and she's very careful. She talks kind of slowly, and she's like, you live in a loving universe. She's like, if you're having challenges, just remember, just say over and over again, this universe is a loving universe, and all is well, and I am safe. And she just encourages us to practice that kind of mantra over and over and over. And the reason is it shifts our awareness, it shifts our consciousness, it shifts our thinking. It's so easy to slip into, oh my God, the world, right? And she reminds us that we can control that. We can steer that ship. We can change our thoughts, and those changed thoughts change our life experience. And this is what Michael Beckwith is teaching us, that we can move out of this sense of limiting and limitation and move into full potentiality, this expanded idea of setting sail, being free, and knowing that we can direct where we're going. Connie and I were talking just briefly this morning about belief. We get locked into some beliefs that are challenging and how it can be difficult to unravel those and to set a new belief for yourself. And that's why I like what Louise Hay teaches, because she's teaching us to remember we come back to it again and again. It may not happen the first time, so we come back to it over and over and reaffirm what we know to be true. And we get the help of our friends around the room, around the world to help us hold that consciousness. So we have practitioners here in the room who will hold that with us and for us. So if you're seeking a shift or a change, I would invite you to seek a conversation with a practitioner after service today, or after the service. So we know that we have this idea of belonging equals freedom. That when I offer this gift and I receive this gift, I have this buoyant sense of freedom. And I know that when I release my limiting beliefs and I set intention and I set sail, that I'm having this freedom of living in this buoyant, lovely, loving universe. And I can bring that positivity into my life. And the third way that I want to talk about freedom this morning is I'm very aware, particularly recently because of certain recent events for some of us, that if, you can go skipping down the road feeling free, but it's hard to do that when you're not feeling well, when you're sick, when you have illness, when you have disease. It's very difficult. I mean, if you're like me at all, when I'm not feeling well, I start to become very insular. I start to turn in. And this becomes the hard part, to feel that expressive freedom when you're not feeling in perfect wholeness and perfect alignment. And what I know, and something that Reverend Amy and I have been talking about, is this idea that in the foundation of New Thought, in these communities that started forming, whether it was Unity or Centers for Spiritual Living, Religious Science, or what have you, those founders had physical healing experiences. That's what got them started on this road. And I know we've talked about some of these stories, but I'm going to tell them to you anyway. I'm going to tell them to you again. Because I think we have to come back to them again to remember, oh, right, this is possible. One of the stories that I love is Myrtle Fillmore. So Charles and Myrtle Fillmore started this movement called Unity, not to be confused with Unitarian, but Unity is a beautiful sister organization still around. I think Reverend Jackie is a Unity minister, and there are other Unity people in our orbit. Reverend Mark Anthony Lord's church in Michigan is Unity Church. So Unity's been around for a long time. Anyway, it was in the late 1800s, Myrtle Fillmore contracted tuberculosis. At the time, it was called consumption. Some of you may remember. You know what was weird? I shouldn't go on a tangent, but you know what's weird about that is that for some reason at that time, consumption was considered a very romantic thing to get. I don't know why. It's such a weird thing. Like La Boheme, Mimi's dying of consumption, and what's her name? The I Want to Be Alone, Greta Garbo. It's like, I'm dying of consumption. It's all very melodramatic and romantic. But it was tuberculosis, and it was not something that could be treated at the time. And Myrtle Fillmore had it. And the story goes that she went to hear this guy speak, Dr. E.B. Weeks. Dr. Weeks is not somebody that you will ever find as a luminary in the New Thought movement. I think this is like the only place that he really shows up. I think he wrote a couple of hymns, so if you're into hymns, you might be familiar with him. But this is really his great claim to fame, is Myrtle Fillmore heard him speak. And what he said was words to the effect of, "You are a child of God. You do not inherit illness." And this was like, for Myrtle. And she was like, wow. And so she took this in, and it just hit her. Sometimes you hear those spiritual truths and they just hit you. And it resonated with her. She internalized it, and she worked with this idea over and over again in her prayer work, in her meditation work. And she healed herself of tuberculosis. One of the reasons I like this story a lot, not only is from the healing, but it took her 2 years to do it. In this day and age when we're so used to Amazon same-day delivery, do my prayer. I'm like, okay, where is it? Show it up yet. Sometimes it takes a while to unravel those old beliefs, those old thought patterns that have brought about this consciousness, this experience that we're having. I heard this, I don't remember his name. He was a wonderful speaker. He was speaking about cause and effect, this idea that we teach this in Cityside, this idea of cause and effect, of, if you I don't know, what's a good example? You smoke every single day for the rest of your life, there's probably going to be some kind of physical effect of that, right? If you, I don't know, eat chocolate cake every day, there'll be a physical effect of it. And he said that this is the way the universe sort of balances itself out. It's a natural law. And as far as he knew, the only way to avoid or to, I guess, mitigate the effect is through meditation. That through meditation and going through that process, we can work our way through that whole belief pattern, that whole fear pattern that shows up around it, and we can find ourselves, work our way through to the seed of it, unravel it, and come into our wholeness that way. So we don't have to go through the detrimental experience. We can do it through meditation. I'll tell you another story. There's Mary Baker Eddy is one of those New Thought luminaries. She started Christian Science. She has a couple of stories. There was this is one that, just as an aside, I was away at a spiritual retreat for our ministerial school with a bunch of classmates, and I was walking on the beach. This was in the Carmel, Monterey area at Asilomar Conference Center. We were walking on the beach, and we were talking about this story, and we were both like, trying to figure it out. It's so wonderful to have such beautiful classmates, I'm telling you. And it inspired me for part of this talk. But Mary Baker Eddy, there was this guy who was severely injured by a heavily laden wagon. Its wheels passed over his body. He was really severely injured and presumed dead. And they brought this guy to Mary Baker Eddy's home. And she came downstairs, and through prayer and spiritual understanding, the man was restored to health and life. And the reason why we were talking about this, like, think about that. Think about, like, what that, if I had been hurt and Connie said, well, I can heal that with prayer, I think people would be like, you're crazy. You're going to do that with prayer? But these are stories of things that have actually happened. And we were trying to, engineer it. Like, how do we break that down? How do we unpack that? How do we hack into that kind of consciousness? I think, this is just what I think. I think that she believed that she had a firm belief that that prayer would work. I also think that this guy being brought to her house also believed that her prayer would work. And I think it was something about that consciousness, that shared belief system that brought this about. She did the same thing. There's a story about her healing this kid with rickets, which was not curable at the time. There's actually a lot of Mary Baker Eddy healing stories. There's a story about Mary Morrissey. Mary Morrissey is a controversial figure in our movement because she's had a lot of financial problems. But before any of that happened, she does have this story of when she was very young and she was having kidney problems, and she was in the hospital and she was going to have a surgery that, and they were I think they gave her, odds of like maybe 20% successful or something like that, something very low. And a practitioner, pointing at Connie, a practitioner came into her room and said, would you like some prayer? And she said, yes, that would be lovely. And she said, and the practitioner said, do you believe the surgery will heal you? And Mary said, no, I don't, because they've already told me that the percentages are so low and whatever, and I don't think I can believe that. And she said, do you believe the prayer will heal you? And she said, to be honest with you, I don't believe the prayer will heal me. I'm not there in my belief right now. And the practitioner said, do you believe that I believe the prayer will heal you? And she said, yeah, I can believe that. I can see that in your eyes. I can see that you actually believe that this prayer is going to heal. And that was enough. And Mary was healed. And she's still with us to this day. So these stories I'm sharing with you are because we have the power and the ability to bring this healing into our lives, this wholeness into our lives in a variety of ways. I'm not saying disregard the allopathic doctor process. I say do it all. You know, that's all part of getting the body into shape to heal itself, because I believe all healing is self-healing. And just inviting in that wholeness. And we're going to do some more work over the next few months here at Cityside to deepen our connection to this physical healing process through spiritual practice, and start to do some unpacking and some exploring and some, figuring it out and bringing it back home. New Thought can drift away from this from time to time, but I think it's great that we're really looking at bringing ourselves back into this physical wholeness, this physical healing. Ernest Holmes, I have a couple quotes for you. Ernest Holmes tells us that true liberty is spiritual. It is the freedom of the soul, and only as the individual frees himself from bondage to false ideas and recognize that they are a free agent in the world where they be free. And this goes for whether we're bouncing around in my pinball machine analogy, or we're feeling that illness, or we're feeling disenfranchised and like we don't belong. That we know that we can step fully into our spiritual inheritance and know that we do belong, that we are free, that we can set our own intention to be that light, love, joy in experience and in sharing. And we can have that physical experience of wholeness. The other quote that I found from Ernest is, we are free only when we are no longer the slaves of circumstances, but the master of them. Freedom means the power to act in the highest and greatest sense. And to me, that phrase, highest and greatest sense, is this higher consciousness, this consciousness of alignment with that unconditional love. As I talked about the last time I was here, we are already unconditional love. We kind of forget it from time to time, kind of maybe don't act like it from time to time, but that doesn't change the fact that we are it. We are eternal beings having a human experience, and we inherit all of the great good and glory that is this thing called God, this thing called Source, this thing called life. We are part of that which creates universes and everything. And so we step into that and we claim and know that power. We claim and know our spiritual inheritance. Yes? All right, so we're going to try and do some of this in prayer. I'm going to invite in some healing consciousness, this deep awareness. We started this healing idea with Mina and Connie when they showed the last movie thing they did was a documentary that interviewed Anita Moorjani and Eben Alexander, and these people who have had near-death experiences, and through those near-death experiences they connected with spirit, and they came back and had these radical, miraculous healings. So these things demonstrate themselves all the time in the world of form. So we're just going to embrace that now. We're going to touch into that spiritual knowing and know that it brings in our wholeness, our freedom, our belonging, our clarity. Just knowing and affirming and touching into that space within, that space without, that is love everlasting, that is always present and is always expressing here and now. It is everywhere and everywhen. It is this truth of being, this sense of authenticity, this spiritual reality that simply is. And knowing my oneness with this, even in this human form, I know my oneness with this. I know each and every single person's oneness with this. I see and know you all as expressions of this love, this divine light in this world. And connecting to that light, I just allow that light to move through my body, through my physical being, into each cell, each organ, each muscle, each gland, each aspect of my physical being, knowing that it is lit with the light of spirit, the light of love, the light of joy, the light of perfect wholeness, that this perfection of spirit is reflected and expressing in and through me. I affirm and know that I belong here in this loving universe, and that in that belonging I have true freedom, freedom to be my authentic self without edit, without any kind of diminishment. I am fully and radiantly expressing my authentic truth here and now. I set sail to my greatest good, knowing that I hold this intention to allow it to be and to bring all those around me with me, to celebrate and to swim in the abundance of this world, to swim in the joy, the love, the light, the wholeness, the peace, the harmony that simply is. I know that through this power of my intention and my consciousness, that I am affecting the world around me, that the world around me may seem like it's expressing in more and more limiting ways, but I know that my consciousness is strong. And I know that through our collective prayer, that we are uplifting the consciousness of all around us, and that we are breaking through any kind of limitation, any kind of fear, any kind of less than, and knowing that we explode into this glorious, glorious light, love, joy, laughter that is just free to be in every corner of the planet. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for this truth. I'm so grateful for these realizations. I'm so grateful for Ernest Holmes and Mary Baker Eddy and all of our teachers. So grateful for the wholeness that is expressing itself here and now for each and every single person. So grateful for the fulfillment of this prayer in ways expected and unexpected. So grateful for all of it. I release it now into the action of law. I know that it is done. I confirm that it is so. I hold it in my heart as truth. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you. Yay.
Thank you, John. All right, we're going to stand and sing together. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you, John. That was really, I mean, I had a little adventure myself recently and landed in the emergency room. And the first thing I did when I could was contact Cityside for prayer. And within a half hour, I was receiving prayer. And I received prayer from the Pratt Corps for the next 3 to 5 days. And it was miraculous in that it was doom and gloom when I went in. But within 3 days, it was like, oh, wake up call. You got to do a little change here and there in your life. And I feel so grateful for those prayers. I didn't feel alone. and I felt supported, and I was so grateful for that. And that's why I belong to Cityside. We are a supportive community, and we are always here for you. And that's why I give to Cityside. I give my time, I give my talent, and I tithe because I belong, and I'm here to belong and to be a part of it. Now, if you will find the QR code on the screen, you will be led to all the different giving options. And if you prefer to do it in person, see, I'm still choked up. It's still, it meant that deeply to me. There's the box here with envelopes. Please put your name so we can give credit where credit is due. And we practice giving and receiving here. So we have cards coming around, affirmation cards. So take a couple, one for yourself, one for someone else, pass it around. I know I put mine every week up in the fridge, my level. It's at the bottom of the freezer. But, and then I have a little pile in my purse, and as I go out, I pass them out during the week, and I have so much fun. You leave it, and then you kind of peek back to see what they, expression on their face and things like that. So it's really fun. Okay, so if you will join me in the giving affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am.
I am light, I am light. 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 I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light, 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 I am light.
I'm Reverend Linda. I use she, her pronouns, and thank you so much for your gifts, whether you're in the room or online. We couldn't do it without you. We're creating this together, so thank you. We appreciate it so much. But I gotta say, special props to the folks in the room today for navigating that race out there. Thank you. I'm so glad to see so many people gave it a whirl. I appreciate that. So if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. And thank you for being here. We invite you to subscribe for our newsletter. The QR code will be up on the screen, or you can visit our website, cityside.me. You can go there to find out anything, anytime. We have lots of stuff going on. And I will share a few announcements. Today, we have the after talk, after service. It's just a casual conversation. We sit and talk. We will invite the online folks to join us. There should be a link for that. If they're not dropping it into this chat right now, you can find it on our website. So we just hang out and talk about what we've been talking about this month, or really whatever is on your heart. So you're welcome to join us. Monday night meditation. Tomorrow night will be the last Monday night meditation session for a while. Krista said she will probably pick it back up later in the fall. It's just a 30-minute, no-cost session to unplug and ease into your night, ease into your week. We have our midweek reset. We have something every Wednesday night, and this Wednesday, John is leading a conversation, just a supportive conversation with some spiritual practice. And this Saturday, Reverend Judy is leading Finding Peace in the Chaos grief group. And just a special note, the Nourishing Hope collection was so successful that we now have a sort of ongoing collection box. It's in the classroom, library room, whatever you want to call that room over there. So any shelf-stable items or personal hygiene items, please bring them. We support folks who need that by donating to Nourishing Hope. So again, you'll find all of these details on our website. There's a lot more going on. I just don't want to keep blah, blah, blah. So you can see me. I also have a laptop over there. I can help if you want to sign up for something. Reverend Judy will be offering prayer. The prayer room is back over there in the corner, and she will let you know when it is your turn to come receive prayer. And if you are online, Jonathan will be offering prayer for you, and he will put a link into the chat so you can join him in a private prayer room. So we hope you'll come back next Sunday, May 4th at 10:30 Central Time. Our May theme is being kicked off by Mark Anthony Lord, and the theme is Raise Your Voice. And after service is our Cityside Spiritual Cinema. The May movie is Mindfulness, Be Here Now. Until then, stay safe and have a beautiful week.
All right, we're going to sing it out one more time with I Am the Place Where God Shows Up. Am I strong enough to bear the burden that sometimes comes living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decision when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have enough of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Yes, I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Have a beautiful week, Cityside.